So we're gonna try something a little new today. We're gonna have a current event video that comes out every week to two. Anytime I think there's something that's really interesting or intriguing that I think could help your game personally, I'm gonna bring it to you. And I got a great one for you in store to start. It's Chris Gotterup. Okay, he gets into some pretty different positions, as you can see. How does he make that work? Okay, because most of the people on my lesson tee look exactly like that on the downswing. Take a look at some of these conglomerate of steep shaft positions. But how can we make it work to where he's had 3 wins this year on tour compared to maybe you out there trying to break 90 or trying to break 80, whatever it might be. We can make that shaft position work to your advantage. Let's go find out how. So here it is, right? We've got 2 pretty steep downswing positions, but one works really well and one does not work shot for shot at all. All right, so on the left here, we've got Chris Gotterup. He's got 5 wins already in a really short PGA Tour career, 3 wins this season. So why does this steep transition work so well for him to be one of the best players in the world? And then this gentleman here, who's about a 30 handicap, why does it not work for him? Because there are some definite similarities here. And we're going to kind of explore and figure out why that exactly is. And it's not just a matter of strength, talent, work ethic. There's some mechanical principles. If you find yourself in this steep transition feeling, steep transition position when you go to record your golf swing, there are some actual valid reasons of how you can get out of it and make it functional to where you can hit great golf shots like Chris Gotterup. Let's go ahead and figure that out. So here's the number one reason why having a steep golf shaft does not work for many, but it does work for some. And we need to get that into your game.
So you're aiming about 20 yards right.
So he's aiming right on every shot that he hits. And he has the patented kind of look over the shoulder, open up to see. He doesn't look down the barrel of the gun, keeping his shoulders square, just because he's so used to aiming right. Okay, so when he gets into this steep downswing position, what you want to remember here that really makes it not work is the flagstick is about here. And look at where his aim line is going, right? Look at where his target line is going. So he's swinging across his body with a steep shaft. And not very functional shots, definitely not a lot of power. He's not able to kind of rotate through the ball the way we'd like. So when you watch somebody like Chris Gotterup that has a steep shaft, he doesn't actually aim straight with anything. So if you watch this ball take off, it takes off up the right side of the fairway. So he's an open stance player, a la Fred Couples, Lee Trevino. So this shaft has plenty of time to shallow out because he's not actually aiming where his feet are pointing. Okay, so that's number one, is make sure that your stance is open. We're going to show you how to figure out how to do that next. Number two is you need to be able to clear your hips through the golf ball. So having free and mobile hips, do not stop until you get all the way to the end of your finish, until you get into a full release. You can see he releases his hips so fully that his trail foot even kind of over-rotates some. So you look at our kind of, normal golfer on the left with a steep shaft, and this was a better follow through than normal, but there's still not enough of a rotational component to help him manage that steep shaft in the downswing. So let's take a look next and figure out exactly how we can get that going in your game. So here's the deal. If you've got this shaft that's pitching steeper, this is how I want you to practice, okay? My target is this orange stick sitting flat on the ground, but my goal is to hit balls off to the right. Lee Trevino said it best when he said, aim left, swing to the right. So I'm gonna feel like my swing is going in that direction. That's what Chris Gotterup does. This is not functional. If you're aiming straight or even a little right and your shaft gets steep, you've got nowhere to go but kind of just crashing into your lead side with no rotation. So the first step is gonna be hit very easy shots, aiming straight, but I'm going to, in my mind's eye, I'm gonna be hitting it out with this orange kind of a vertical posted tube right here. I'm gonna start really easy. So that felt great. what I want you to do next is I want you to actually hit some. You notice the alignment rod on my stick, just to demonstrate, once you swing to the right, I want you to continue to turn your hips and then your shoulders all the way through, as far as your physical limitations will allow. Okay, so same thing, once again, really slow, aim straight, but I'm gonna swing to the right, and then I'm gonna continue to rotate and turn all the way until I get to a somewhat exaggerated finish. Go very slow. So those are the two big keys that really help Gotterup, is he's not aiming right, okay? Fred Couples, Lee Trevino, Chris Gotterup, they're all open stance players. That's what allows him to get away with the shaft that's a little bit too vertical, okay? As he continues to swing to the right, that shaft eventually lays down into a great delivery position. So experiment with aiming left. I don't know if I've ever in all my years of coaching had amateur golfers that aim left and swing right. They probably wouldn't be coming for a lesson, but I've had about 1 million aim right and then swing steep and left. I've had a ton of those, okay? And then the other part, I don't know if I've ever told someone like, hey, you're following through too much. Why don't you do it a little bit less? It's really not the case. Whatever our end range of motion is, try to go all the way until the very end. My hips kind of run out about here, and then my shoulder rotation will continue the rest of the way. So that's all I would kind of work on if you're feeling that steep shaft. Chris Gotterup's an amazing talent, and just goes to show you that there's many ways to get it done. It doesn't have to look textbook perfect all the time for you to play fantastic golf. Till next time, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this video, but I hope some of these quicker one-off current event videos, I hope you enjoy them. Have a great week. We'll see you next video.